First, I want to ask you to take someone in your mind you really, really love and hold on to this thought. And then I'm going to let you see with this movie who's mine. That is this my son in the movie. I have 3 kids, 2 sons and 1 daughter. And this son, he's 19 years old at this movie. And in April 2013, he made a very important decision for him. He decided to explore the world. He wanted to experience how life was without family and friends. And he had a fear of failure, and he wanted to conquer this on his own. And at that time, he was following an education for cameraman, and he found himself an internship abroad in Curacao with a Caribbean film company. And there he went, August 2013, on his own for half a year. In that time, after he was departed, we saw him grow from a boy to a bearded young adult. And he had hard times because he had to work 60 hours a week, but we saw also that he was enjoying his spare time. And although he had hard times, we saw he was really doing well. And 3 weeks before he came home, my husband and I decided to go on a vacation in Lanzarote. And while we were there, our phone rang. And I saw it was my daughter. I thought, oh my God, our dog died, because he was 14 years old. But the words she said to me are still engraved in my head. She said to me, Mom, the worst thing that ever can happen to you has happened. Stijn passed away. Whoa. Do you still have that person in your thoughts you really, really love? Probably you feel fear and hurt. And I think it's a fraction of what I felt. The moment that you hear such a message, you know your life will never be the same again. And there begins life part 2. What was happened? The day before, he went to his friend in Bonaire. A good friend of him did an internship in Bonaire, and they had a beautiful night. They talked about how great life was on the other side of the ocean. And they were there with sun, with the beach, with girls. And they talked about the future. And they drank beer. At the end of the night, they went by car, and they drove into this little wall. Stijn flew out the car, died immediately, and the driver was not injured. And then there we were, far away from Stijn, far away from our other 2 kids, and we had to come home. And while we were on our way home, we made one of the most important decisions of our lives. We decided to not grieve alone. We decided to grieve with all our family, all our friends, and friends of Stijn. And when we came home, the house was filled with people. And we grieved together, and we cried together. And that night, I had a dream, a very special dream. I dreamed that I was in a Caribbean sea, and I saw dolphins swimming. And one of the dolphins gave birth to a baby dolphin. And the baby dolphin swam to me, and he looked at me and he said, Mom, do you see where I am? I am in a beautiful ocean, and I have a mother dolphin and a father dolphin, and they're taking care of me. It's all right. Whoa. This dream has 2 meanings for me. 1, if you asked Stijn what his profession would be, he always said, I want to be a dolphin trainer. And when you ask why, he said, because it attracts women. And 2, it was a kind of reassuring for me. It gave me power. Power to arrange a great farewell and a great tribute for Stijn. And 2 years and 9 months ago, I stood here on the same spot in the mess. And we did, with all friends and family, we gave him the best farewell. And then, We have buried our son. We had the luck that family and friends kept on visiting us. And we grieved together. And more than 20 people got a tattoo with the name Stein in it. And we ran the 10-kilometer singalope together. And we bring our memories of Stein. It was in that time that we decided to go back to Curaçao and to Bonaire. We wanted to feel what Stein had felt. We wanted to walk where he had walked, and we wanted to talk with people where he talked with. And my daughter and her friend decided to marry there, on the beach where she was the last time with Stein. And he couldn't be any closer. This guy gave us power, positive energy, and we had to use it. It was during that trip that I'm beginning to wonder, what was my part of it? Did I have a part of what was happened? Because I encouraged Stein to go on an internship abroad, but we didn't read background information of the country, of the cultural differences, and especially young students could be drawn in the cultural differences. I had the idea to start a foundation for students who go abroad to prepare properly on the country where they're going. And I proposed the idea to family and friends of Stein, and they all said, yes, great idea. And also the driver did. Now for the further story of the foundation, I leave you in the good hands of Bram, a member of the foundation, and my son-in-law.
Valentine's Day, 2014. I'm a teacher at a local high school here in Breda, and as I'm in the classroom teaching my students, suddenly the principal walks in. He asked me to step outside of the classroom and walk with him to his office. While we are walking, I'm thinking, what could possibly be a good enough reason to pull me out of class while I'm working, teaching my students, to follow him to his office? Couldn't wait until break or something else. The moment we stepped into his office, he turned to me and he said, I just got a phone call from your wife and your brother-in-law died. He died in a car accident in Bonaire. At that moment, my mind went totally blank. I didn't know what to say, what to think, what to do. Then it hit me. The only thing I could do was leave there immediately, go to my wife, try and comfort her. So, of course, I did. What happened after the death of Stein, in that period, you just heard from Lisette. And she got the idea for a foundation. She told me, she told friends, family, everybody was really enthusiastic, really wanted to get to work with it, really want to get into it. So we did. We gathered a lot of friends around us, young people who knew Stein very well, best friends, family, you name it. And we just started to think about what we wanted to do, what do we want to accomplish. But first of all, we needed a name, of course. The foundation doesn't sound really catchy. And what we thought of was Stein died 9 days after his 20th birthday. So that's how we came to the name 9 dagen 20, 9 days 20. Of course, we would have to have a goal. What do we want to accomplish? And we noticed that Stein and a lot of other students who go on an internship abroad, they face difficulties with the information they get, the information they gather about the country they go to. A lot of those countries have different cultures than what they are used to here in the Netherlands. And if they do not read into it, and they are not prepared for that, it could pose problems. For example, what happened to Stein? He got into the flow of the culture over there, in Curaçao, in Bonaire. What is that culture? What is the difference between the Netherlands and there? The dangerous differences is that there's no problem if you drink and drive. Even the police does it. It's no problem if you don't have a seatbelt on. You even get laughed at by the locals if you do wear your seatbelt. So students tend to get into that vibe, get into the flow, and follow that culture. So a lot of students drive around, no seatbelt on. They drive around after they went out drinking. It is no problem there, not for the law. But the disastrous aftermath of those decisions we experienced firsthand. How did we want to accomplish that goal? Now we have a goal, we have it set, but how do we want to reach the students? We thought we wanted to give a presentation. We are going to the students, we want to find them and try and inform them about those different cultures between Netherlands and other countries. So we made connections with universities, colleges, and we got invitations. We were able to go to those students and talk to them. So how do we get on with such a presentation? What do? We start with the personal story of Stijn, such as you just heard from Lisette. This really draws in the attention, and the students, they are really grasped by it. Afterwards, we give some examples about the drinking, driving, not wearing a seatbelt, but also different examples. We have something about, in Malaysia, maybe you've heard of it, a while back, there were some tourists, young people, and they thought it would be funny to climb the mountain, were on top of the mountain, and they thought it would be funny to pull their pants down, take some pictures, and post them on social media. The idea is pretty funny. But within a week, after them posting those pictures, there was an earthquake in the area. What they had not realized was that that mountain they took those pictures on was a holy mountain for the local people. So they violated that holy mountain. And the locals knew about those pictures, were really upset, were really angry. It even got to the point that the tourists who did this got kicked out of the country because of it. Other example. Here in the Netherlands, if you have a few grams of marijuana, maybe 1 or 2 ecstasy pills, not that big of a problem. If you have the same in other countries, Taiwan, other places in Asia, and they catch you, you can get a few years of sentence in jail. Many students are not aware of this. They don't think about this, and of course they get into the excitement of, yeah, I'm going on an internship abroad. But you have to think about those differences. Read into it, get to know that, so you don't make the same kind of mistakes that Stijn also did. What did we achieve so far? We've reached, with our presentations, at least 1,000 students in person. Talk to them, give the presentations, give the examples. And we noticed that a lot of the students, it really made a big impression. They linger on after the presentation, talk to us, share their personal stories with us, and really it gives us a really positive feedback. We gave this presentation here in Breda, Amsterdam, Verheijen. We've got workshops going on for the students, colleges, universities, also high school students. But you also notice a lot of growth in ourselves. Because of the way that we were able to use the very negative experience of the death of someone we really, really deeply loved, and we're able to turn that into something positive and try to prevent those kind of accidents with other students, gave us a good feeling. It helped us grow as persons. Lisette and I told you how we were able to do this, why we did this, and we hope we have inspired you to do something like this in the future. Thank you very much.